Yes, yes. Yes, yes, the Casanovians. How we doing, bro? Alright, what I want to do in this one, I went live on Instagram yesterday about this topic, but I thought, I don't know what else to talk about today, so I'm gonna do a stream on the topic of approaching girls being creepy. So the more I start to spread my message and start to cross-pollinate my content on different platforms, the general rhetoric from these low frequency basement dwellers is, oh, bro, you can't approach women in person because that's creepy. That's wrong. And what I found is a lot of these arguments are fear disguised as morality. It's avoidance dressed up as nobility. Yeah? Because I think that there is an epidemic of avoidance among so many men these days. I think that you might be somebody at the moment, and maybe you were brought up in a culture or a household which installed a lot of sexual shame into you. There's a really good quote from Oscar Wilde, which is, most people are other people. Their passions are quotation, their lives are mimicry. That's not the full quote, but the point of it is a lot of people's thoughts are not even their own. Yeah? A lot of the time we become brainwashed by the brain dead into thinking things that we should think we want to think. And I do have empathy for guys out there who you might have been brought up in a very strict religious household where you were taught that to express your authentic desires as a man was wrong in some way. But then you've got these other low frequency basement dwellers who they don't do anything, they don't take action, they have no desire whatsoever to improve the shit show that they call their life. And when they see somebody such as myself out there on the street taking action, getting rejected, dive bombing into discomfort, the reason why cold approach content triggers so many men is because it holds a mirror up to who they could have been. Yeah, people want to see you do well, they don't want to see you do better than them, because it does hold a mirror up to who other people could have been. Yeah, there are so many men today who, in their everyday lives, yeah, that they will see women who they find attractive, and they will have this split-second pull to go over to say something, but they're held back. Yeah, they're held back by shame, by conditioning, by sedation. And what I've always found to be fairly humorous is, I don't know if you found this, but whenever I walk through the streets, maybe I'm in London or Barcelona, Bangkok, you'll always see women walking through the street, and maybe the woman is nicely dressed up, she's put effort in to look beautiful. And you'll always see guys who are giving them side eyes, or maybe they're with their mate, and as the girl walks past, one of the guys will nudge his mate and they'll both look back, and then they'll turn to each other and give each other a fist bump as though they've achieved something. Or maybe you're on the train and you see another dude who's checking a girl out, and then the moment she looks at him, he turns away and pretends he wasn't even looking. That is creepy, yeah? What is creepy is checking a girl out, giving her a side eye, walking down the street with your mate, getting your mate to look at her, and not doing anything about it. Yeah? The ability to walk over to a woman, stone cold sober, during the daytime, and express your authentic truth to her. Zan Perion said it best. Beauty needs a witness. Yeah? And I think in the modern world, so many men have lost their balls. Yeah, and that's what daytime cold approach really is for me. It's reclaiming your balls as a man, not being a static spectator, but an active player. And the thing is as well, dude, it's only creepy if you're creepy. And if you are creepy, then everything you do is fucking creepy. You could play chess, you could play badminton, you could play fucking tiddlywinks. If you're creepy, and what I mean by that is you're a fat fuck with terrible hygiene and zero fucking social skills, spending most of the time on the internet, wanking yourself off to porn every night, then anything you do is going to be creepy. Yeah, it's not a case of, oh, cold approach is creepy. It's you're creepy because you probably lack the skill or the calibration or the intellect to be able to do it properly. So the point that I've made in the past is what cold approach is it's a hyperbolizer. Yeah, so it will exaggerate your current character. If you're like the guys who I work with, maybe you're building a business, you're hashtag working on yourself, you're training like a savage at the gym, maybe you're doing some form of martial arts, you've got good social skills, maybe you're living an international lifestyle, then by cold approaching, it's going to hyperbolize who you are, meaning it will make you appear more fuckable, more confident. Women will be like, whoa, I respect the balls. This is so good. Keep doing it. Oh, I'm unavailable, but keep going. Like, this is so good. I wish more guys would do it. But if you're a basement dweller who's got nothing going on, you're overweight, you stink, and you've got terrible social skills, and you think that this thing called cold approach, which is just talking to people, you think this mystical thing called cold approach is going to be a cheat code into the sexual marketplace, then I'm sorry, Pedro, but your dreams are fucked, right? What this is about is becoming the version of yourself who cold approach can work for. It's not about learning cheap tricks or tactics. It's take the version of yourself that you currently are, look at yourself in the mirror, decide who you want to be, and then be relentless until you become that version of yourself. That's what I did 5 years ago when I was a porn addict. I had erectile dysfunction, wanking myself off into a sock every night. At one point, I realized no one was coming to save me. Yeah? And the thing is as well, dude, I think this is where a lot of guys get fucked up when they're learning cold approach, because they think all cold approach is just street approaching. Oh, I need to go out every single weekend, do 10 sets, record the audio of my conversations, listen to the podcasts, watch the videos. That is fine for a time being, right? My mantra is learn day game, don't become a day gamer, because the problem is, if all you do is street approaching, and that is your entire reason for being, after 3, 4, 5 months of doing that, then you start to lose your character. You start to lose your soul in the process of day game, because you end up using cold approach to get all of your needs met. So you use cold approach to get your romantic needs met, your emotional needs met, your physiological needs met. It becomes your entire existence, right? And that puts a lot of pressure on one activity. Ideally, with cold approach, you have a 90-day obsession period where you do go hard, but then you don't become a day gamer. You don't become this guy who's just going out there and approaching and has got nothing else going on in his life. And you might be on a date with a girl and she's like, what do you do? And you're like, well, I kind of just approach girls. Yeah. So beautiful women are a beautiful byproduct of a beautiful life. Yeah. So you have your 90-day obsession period. It might take you longer. It might take you a bit less depending on your current skill level. But the goal is day game is not the end game. Yeah. Day game is not the end game. And I think a lot of guys get confused where they think that just because they've started to cold approach and they've got good at it, then all they're allowed to do now is cold approach on busy streets during the daytime. I think this is where a lot of the dating content online is completely messed up, because, yeah, my philosophy is every man should grow a set of balls and start approaching women during the daytime. I think it's a modern day rite of passage. I think it's the most aggressive form of self-development. But from a pure dating standpoint, I think once you become proficient at cold approach, so you can have conversations that can convert into dates and beyond, and you prove that to yourself time and time again, my stance on this is it's not day game, it's not online game, it's not night game, it's life game, right? So if you're somebody right now, maybe you've been street approaching for the past 2 years and you've got good at it and you've built your character, you've proved to yourself you can get results, there's nothing wrong if you want to go to a fucking nightclub or meet women at bars, or you want to install a dating app and use that for passive income. I would say, out of every person on the planet, you are the most justified to download a dating app. If you've been going hard with daytime cold approach for the past 2 years, and let's say you've got a trip booked to some faraway location, if you want to download an app and get the pipeline filled up before you get there, because what that'll do as well is it'll give you abundance, right? Abundance. So if you've already got 5 quality matches with some wife-worthy women on an app, then it's going to make you feel more abundant when you're going out into the streets. You're probably going to be more carefree. You're probably going to be more non-needy. You're probably going to be more detached from outcome. But I think there's so many guys and fucking coaches in this space who they just become too extreme on one thing, right? Like everything fucking works. So you don't need to, oh, I'm street approaching now. So you become this like puritanical extremist where all you do is cold approach. Oh, it has to be day game. It has to be 2 p.m. on Oxford Street. It's like, dude, chill. Fuck me. Like all game is learning how to get what you want, right? It's a transfer of certainty. But what I would say is I found the problem with guys who just focus on dating apps alone. My stance on that is at some point you're going to have to meet these women in person, right? So if you don't know how to lead, if you don't know how to escalate, if you don't understand how to be dominant and be assertive, if you haven't learned the language of the feminine through lots and lots and lots of daytime cold approaches, because every approach you do, you'll learn something different, right? Maybe you pussied out of an approach, or maybe you were in an approach and it was time to take the phone number, but you hesitated. You felt like a closet heterosexual. You felt weird about going for the phone number. Or maybe you had the opportunity to go on an instant date with a girl, but again, you hesitated. You hadn't yet learned how to escalate in those situations. So I think that at its core, daytime cold approach will allow you to learn the art of seduction. But I think for guys who are just focusing on dating apps, then at some point you're going to need to meet these girls in person. So I think it's great to just dip your toe into lots of different things. I'd say actually, when you are having this obsession period for 90 days, where you are focused on cold approach, I don't see any problem with you also having some, let's call them night game sessions as well. I think daytime cold approach is an incredible social lubricant, right? So let's say, for example, you do 10 direct approaches on the Saturday, then you can take all of that social momentum into the evening, yeah? So whilst everybody else needs 5 shots of Sambuca just to start feeling themselves, you've already got momentum behind you. So I think you can use those as these complementary forces. It reminds me actually, I'll use a case study to illustrate this. So one of our guys who joined the Entourage last year, he goes by the name of Richie. And when Richie joined the Entourage, he'd been on a 4-year dry spell, right? 4 years, no women, no activity. He was just focused purely on his career, right? Just making money, stacking cash. The guy had lived like a fucking hermit for 4 years. And he joined the Entourage. We started working together. And when he joined, it's just like everybody when they first join, when they first start working with me. But he was more of an extreme case because he'd spent so much time on his own, indoors. His work was very logical and analytical, and he didn't really have any reason to leave his house. And the relationship he came out of 4 years ago, it knocked his confidence a lot because he hadn't become the version of himself who knew how to handle relationships with the feminine. So he came to us last year, complete rock bottom, complete hermit. Like you would have looked at him 4 years ago, like there was nothing wrong with him physically. In fact, good looking dude, well put together. On the surface, you would just think he was crushing it. You would think he was fine, but internally, it was almost like he was still a child, right? It was really interesting. The guys in the Entourage will understand what I'm talking about. Fast forward to today, he's now running private events all over the world. He's getting beautiful women at these events. He's documenting it all on his Instagram profile. He's got memberships in very high-end places in different cities across the world. He took my advice on board, which was, listen, you're not going to stay on the streets for the rest of your life. But right now, your confidence is at rock bottom. You've not been talking to enough women on a consistent basis, and you've got zero momentum behind you. So this was more of a long-term project for me in the Entourage, where we started off on the streets of London, right? Pushing him into approaches. Approaches were absolutely terrible at the start. All of the classic beginner mistakes, talking too fast, giving off this apologetic vibe, nothing polarizing. Everything was pleasant, nice guy, people pleaser. And we just took it step by step. And it wasn't an easy path because we had a lot of unlearning to do, right? That's what this process is about for most guys. You're not learning, you're unlearning, okay? Because there's so much bullshit at the moment which is in your way. It might be, oh, approaching women is creepy, or my mate John said this is wrong, or oh, I want to do this, but that's the thing, isn't it? When guys are like, oh, approaching women is creepy, they're not. they're not being respectful. They're just being afraid to be rejected. That's all it is. All of it is cope. Yeah, it's just cope designed for weak men who are terrified of not receiving love from the feminine. But this is why I advocate for this skill so much, because I think men, especially in the West, they've lost their balls, they've become static spectators. Everybody's avoiding things, do you know what I mean? It's like everyone wants to just take the path of least resistance. And I get it, it's human nature, but for me, I don't know if it's nature or nurture, but I'm just like, just give me the most difficult things possible. Just give me the most difficult task. I want to make myself viciously uncomfortable. That's why I did my solo skydive. That's why I've been training Muay Thai for a year. That's why I became a magician at 13 years old. That's why I started creating content. That's why I decided on the 4th of July 2020 to do my first daytime cold approach, yeah? Because I'm attracted to difficulty. I'm attracted to the obscure side of life, but pushing myself, yeah? Because I don't want to be like the average guy, yeah? I don't want to, interesting story, let me just illustrate this. I was at the Muay Thai gym today, and I got talking to this guy from the Netherlands, really cool guy. And he was there with his son. His son must have been about 10 or 11 years old. And the more I got talking, I realized he's flown with his son to Bangkok for 12 days. And the reason why, this is such a fucking inspiring story, dude. He's flown with his son to Bangkok for 12 days purely to train Muay Thai, right? I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, why did you decide to do that? And he was like, because everybody who I'm associated with, everybody back home, everybody in the West, they're all weak, they're all soft mentally. And it was interesting. We had a really great conversation, and he was like, I'm doing well financially. I don't need to worry about money for the rest of my life. My family are looked after. But you can't buy this, yeah? You can have all the money in the world. You can have the materialistic trophies. You can have your Lamborghinis and whatever the fuck else you've got. The mental resilience that comes from doing difficult things. And he's brought his son to Bangkok during the Christmas period when everybody else is slacking off and being lazy fucks. He's brought his son here to install discipline into him. And I was just like, that is fucking inspiring, dude. Like, when I have children, that is exactly what I want to do. Because at one point during the session, his son was complaining that the trainers were pushing him too hard. And I guarantee most parents in the West would be like, oh, you're hurting my child. Oh, go easier on him. He's just a kid. This motherfucker was like, no, go harder. There's nothing wrong with you. And it was just so inspiring to see, like, this boy literally becoming a man. I was speaking with a kid as well, like, just cool kid. I was like, how have you found it? He was like, oh, yeah, it's kind of a bit hard. I'm like, dude, if my dad brought me to Bangkok when I was your age, I was like, you probably won't appreciate the lessons right now, but 10 years from now, you'll respect your dad so much for giving you that opportunity to install this discipline inside of you. And this is what this is about for me. Yeah, great, you learn cold approach because you want to learn how to predictably, reliably get hotter women into your life. I get that. But on this deeper level, it's who you're becoming, yeah? What type of masculine role model are you going to be? If you've got children right now, what are your children thinking of you from the decisions that you make? I don't have children, but one of my mental reframes whenever I'm being a little bitch is, what would my son or daughter think of me? If I don't want to go to the Muay Thai gym, or I don't want to make this live stream, or I don't want to sit down and do some difficult work, well, what sort of lessons are you going to install into your children? And I see this epidemic of fear, this fear dressed up as nobility. Oh, it's wrong to do this. Well, it's not though, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, going to the Muay Thai gym, training like a savage, walking over to women and being honest, yeah? Not hiding behind whatever, like, side-eye glances, because the thing is as well, these guys who say, oh, approaching women is creepy, they're the same guys who are walking through the streets if they actually leave their house. They're the same guys who are side-eyeing women, then going back home, watching some hardcore porn, and then wanking themselves off. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're a guy right now and you have this burning desire to approach women and you've got the best intentions, yeah? You want to leave women better than you found them. You want to create magical experiences because, dude, the woman that walks past you today, she could be the future mother of your children. And if you don't approach her, somebody else will. Yeah? If you don't approach her, somebody else will. Because I think that all these opportunities that we allow to pass us by each day, yeah, a woman walks out of Starbucks, or you see a beautiful woman who's exactly your type just walk out of whatever, Zara. You know, all these opportunities that you're letting slide at the moment, it's chipping away at your confidence. Then what you try and do is you justify it. Oh, well, I wasn't in the mood. Oh, it's wrong. Oh, it's creepy. Everyone's watching. What will people think? Yeah? And it's your fucking life, dude, day by day. Yeah, you don't get this time back. Yeah? And this is what I say, you know, to the guys who I work with. You either want this or you don't. Because for me, you can't be half-assed. Yeah, going halfway with half a heart only digs a deeper grave. You can't be half a gangster. It's like, decide if you're a smoker or you're not a smoker, and then be that. Yeah, because this isn't for the faint of heart. Yeah, daytime call approach, it's not for wankers. It's not for little bitches who want to cry and complain. You know, it's not for excuse makers or action avoiders or little crybabies who want to be wrapped up in cotton wool. No, it's for guys who are pissed off with the status quo. Guys who are pissed off with the current reality know that they're capable of more, but no one's coming to fucking save you. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think when you are putting your balls out there on the line on a consistent basis, not because you want to become a day gamer, not because you're trying to be this low-value pickup artist who's parading around the shopping mall for 8 hours a day talking to one woman. No. All cold approach is the transfer of certainty. It's learning how to get what you want, but at its base, all this is learning how to start conversations with women who you don't know. That is all this is, yeah? It's learning how to start conversations with women who you don't know, with the intent to begin a romantic relationship. That's all it is. But like, just at its most simple form, it's talking to women. It's having conversations with women, yeah? I think once guys start to understand this, their beliefs start to shift, yeah? It's still one of my favorite pieces that Hormozy said. What do you believe to be true about the world that isn't? What do you believe to be true about yourself that isn't? What do you believe to be true about women that isn't? Yeah? Because once you get proficient at cold approach and you start making these cosmic connections with wife-worthy women, if you go out today and you approach a girl and she feels it, not in her psychology, but in her biology, it feels like a relief for women. Yeah, I think in this age of hyperconnectivity, of digitalization, people are more lonely than ever before, both men and women. And I think that being able to walk over to a woman today, declare your desire unapologetically, I think women feel this sensation of relief, yeah? And they respect it as well. Even if she doesn't want to be your woman, there's a level of respect there that, whoa, this guy walked over to me when everyone was watching, he risked his balls, and he gave me this compliment. Because I think that, certainly in my experiences and all the guys that I've worked with, like when you've got this approach and this skill dialed in, I do believe it changes the world. Yeah, because you've got no idea where these positive reverberations are going to ricochet. You might go out today, you might approach the middle-aged lady, she's happily married, fine. But because you walked over and you had the balls to make her feel witnessed, to make her feel beautiful, desired, and sexy, she will then go home to her loving family, she'll feel more sexy, she'll feel more loved, she will probably be a better mother to her children. Now her children feel more loved because, oh, mum feels happy. She might not have been given a compliment, a genuine compliment by a stranger for the past decade. You've allowed her to feel beautiful again. You've allowed her to feel witnessed. And then maybe her children get better grades at school, grow up to be doctors one day and save people's lives. Like, I think oftentimes we have a very narrow, short-term view. Oh, cold approach, it's just picking up chicks. Well, yeah, for some guys it is. But for me, it's like, okay, you're walking over to women, you are creating these magical experiences. A lot of people are lonely these days. A lot of men have lost their balls. A lot of women are lonely. Yeah, they might, you might hear all this stuff online, like, oh yeah, but they're getting DM'd by fucking Stavros on his yacht. I think that even with the digitalization of everything, I think that relationships and community will always be the most important aspects of human existence, right? Relationships and community. And I think if you can just walk over to women, bypass all of your bullshit, and make them feel witnessed today, I think that's a great place to be. Is it creepy? It's only creepy if you're creepy. Yeah? So, yeah, I just wanted to put this out there because I feel as though there are a lot of guys who are they're on the precipice, you know? They've rejected these other forms of meeting people for now. And they're like, yeah, I can feel that pull. I do want to get myself out there. I can view this as not just an improver, it's not just as improving my dating life, but the rest of my life. I can see how the rest of my life is going to flourish. So yeah, if you are one of those people and maybe you're bullshitting yourself at the moment, maybe you're watching too much content, maybe you're spending too much time in Reddit forums, just dude, like get yourself out there today and just give one woman a compliment, yeah? Just walk over to her, say, "Excuse me, I just want to say you look incredible." That's it. That's it. And what you'll find is she'll have this sensation of relief. Maybe she's slightly surprised. Maybe she's taken aback. Maybe she's happy. Doesn't matter. Yeah, the rep is the reward. And every rep that you do, what happens is slowly you start to undo the conditioning. And it's not to say every woman is going to want to bang you. No, I'm not saying that. But if you can have more of this mindset of going out to give, yeah, this is a great mindset for when you're getting started with cold approach and everything feels scary. Just go out to give. You don't want to stay in this mindset forever, otherwise you run the risk of becoming the good Samaritan who's just going out there approaching women, doesn't know how to lead or escalate or close. But for the first 100 reps, it's great to have that mindset, just going out there to give. Yeah, make her feel great, make her feel beautiful, make her feel witnessed. And yeah, so I just wanted to put this live stream together. Hopefully it's been useful for somebody. If you've enjoyed it, drop it a like, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Okay.